I became a cash millionaire at 27 years old. But if I had to do it again and go from broke to millionaire business owner in the next 12 months, this is exactly what I do. If at any point during this video you think, I can't do this, you might not be cut out to become a millionaire, and that's okay. But if you're part of the select few who are willing to do the work, then this video is for you. So your first month of your millionaire journey is going to be all about learning a high income skill. So these are the 5 most in-demand high-income skills today. First one is coding, software. You're hearing it all the time. SaaS, SaaSpreneur. The second one is content creation. Everything around video editing, graphic design, essentially helping people get their stories, their message out to the world. The third is copywriting, learning how to craft words in a structure that gets somebody to take action is a very high-paying skill. The fourth is project management, understanding how to take an idea all the way across to execution and implementation is very valuable. The fifth is sales, even chat sales. Most people don't realize that nothing happens until somebody sells something to another person, and there are companies with products and inventory that they would pay top dollar to have somebody else help sell and communicate to the market, and it can pay handsomely. So I learned my first high income skill of all places in rehab. I got lucky, honestly. I ended up getting in trouble with the law as a teenager, got released into a rehab center that literally saved my life, and I spent 11 months not only getting sober, but trying to build the trust that I'd lost with my parents and really just build myself back up to being a normal person. At the end of that program, I was helping the maintenance guy clean out one of these cabins, and in one of the rooms was this old computer and a book on Java programming sitting next to it. I became obsessed with writing code. Through that process, I learned that that is actually a very high paying, highly valuable skill. And it was the first of several that allowed me to build the career and the entrepreneurial journey that I've been on. When you start, you have to spend all your time learning the new skill, the high income skill. Even if you have a job, you might be working 9 to 5, start learning between 5 to 9. The whole point is to increase the value you bring to the marketplace. It doesn't matter how much you think people should pay you, it's the kind of value that you bring. So if you're doing something that is low paying, like restocking shelves, don't be upset if you're not making the big bucks. The whole point is to figure out how can you increase the value you provide to the market. If you figure out what the market wants, what it finds valuable, and you learn that skill, you will be rewarded accordingly. Which brings us to month 2, which is learn, don't earn. I believe that you have to be obsessed with your high income skill. For me, it was writing code. I would do everything from build apps for my friends to share photos online, to build an application for people to download and create burnt CDs of all their top MP3s. Yes, I'm dating myself. To build websites for my dad so that he could share his cottage. I just used the skill as often as possible. It was just something I offered for free so that I could learn. It wasn't about making money. So if I was starting over again, knowing what I know today, here's exactly how I would do it. The first thing is I would get somebody a result as fast as possible. Whatever skill you want to develop, find somebody who's got the problem that you can provide a solution and get them a result as fast as possible. Do the work ahead of time. Every day I get people messaging me, hey, I could edit your videos, or hey, I could sell for you, or hey, I can write code for one of your businesses. And I'm like, just do it. Show me you can do the thing ahead of time. Don't ask me to pay you to show me you can do it. It's the folks that show up and just do it that are going to get the opportunity. Then once you actually get them a result, ask them for the testimonial. That's how we start to build your portfolio. Once you have 2 or 3 or 4 of these, then I can ask for 1 or 2 referrals from those people to recommend my work to somebody else that they might know that they appreciate or trust. And then I would continue to learn and collect feedback on how I can become better. If I do that right, then I'm going to increase my pace of learning, not necessarily earning, but it's going to create a flywheel to catapult me forward. Which brings us to month 3, which is to get your first client. So the first thing that I ever got paid for that wasn't a family member that gave me money to help solve a problem was literally these burnt CDs that would have all the person's favorite MP3 songs on. I built this app where they could create their playlist and then request that CD be burnt so they could have it and put it in their cars. Again, you may not be aware, but there used to be physical devices that people put songs on to play in their car. I did the first one for free to give them a test to say, hey, here's how it works. And then they loved it. And then after that, then I would charge them for ongoing CDs if they wanted to build a new playlist. They wanted to create something for their girlfriend or their boyfriend. And that to me is one of the best ways to get your first client is demonstrate the value ahead of time. And then once they're in, then ask them to pay you for follow-on work. Ask them to pay you to do more. When you charge for your work, the whole relationship changes. I mean, their expectations are higher, which isn't a bad thing. You actually get paid so you can invest in yourself and buy tools to make yourself even better. The other thing you'll learn real quick is that if people don't pay, they don't pay attention. Meaning that if what you do as a service requires them to give you feedback, if they're not paying, don't be upset if their emails don't get responded very quickly. The more they pay, the more they pay attention. So you'll be able to do better and better work the more you can charge somebody, because the client will want the result even more. Which brings us to month 4, which is to build your marketing pipeline, which are the 4 P's of demand generation. Don't be the world's best kept secret. Your goal is to get as many people as possible to know about you, what you do, and how you can help them. See, back in the day, it used to be about going and speaking at events or getting covered in the local newspaper, maybe getting covered by the local blog. Today, you want to get your reach out there to the world. Go on podcasts, do collaborations with other influencers, go and create webinars or joint webinars so that you can take advantage of other people's audiences. Top of funnel is more important than anything else. You can't sell to an empty room. So ask yourself, who's got your perfect fit customers? When you think about the person that you know you can create the most value for as fast as possible, that is most likely to easily pay, that is the person that you want to talk to. Who's got a room full of those people that have a need to solve the problem that you can solve for them? Reach out to them, go on their podcast, ask to contribute a blog post article, do a joint webinar. If you do those things, you will build the top of funnel. So there's only 4 P's to create demand in the market. The first P is publishing. Think social media, content. We want to use education-based marketing to inform our customers how they can solve the problems themselves. But if we do a good job showing them how to do that, they're going to go, well, this person's clearly an expert. SEO, blog posts, those are all in the publishing realm. The second P is paid. Facebook. I love paid because it's fast. Paid allows you to literally create a target audience on these platforms to get an ad placed in front of them so that people respond that are perfect fit for your product. The third P is partners. These are people that have an audience, a built-in room where you can get in front of. Sometimes they're called affiliates, sometimes they're called strategic partners, sometimes they're called value-added resellers. At the end of the day, they're people that you partner with to get in front of their audience. The fourth is PR. This is public relations. This is getting interviewed on a podcast. Anytime that somebody reaches out to you and they have a platform, they interview you around your story, how you help people, what makes you different, that is PR. Those 4 P's are the top of funnel of creating awareness so that everybody knows about what you do and how you do it and who you do it for, so they can refer a lot of people to you. Which brings us to month 5, which is to hire an assistant and the ATF framework to make it work. See, back in the day when I started my first company, I used to spend all my time doing all the work, even to the point that every Sunday I would go into my office just to sort the physical mail that would come into the P.O. box. And I would spend hours just looking at every envelope and letter and sorting them between things that had to go to my lawyer, things that have to go to my accountant, things that got to get processed later. And I realized that I was spending all this time doing something that any other person could do. And I found a woman named Lisa, and I just taught her in person how to process my mail. And all of a sudden I had hours back on a Sunday. So instead of processing mail, I was doing lead generation. I was doing follow-up on my sales funnel. I was preparing for the week. I was reviewing applications and references and job postings. Like, I was doing things that were actually growing my business. So if you spend all of your time doing things that somebody else could do instead of working on the thing that makes you the most money, you're essentially working against yourself. This is the first hire in what I call the replacement ladder. See, most entrepreneurs end up building a business they grow to hate. So we use the ATF framework, which stands for audit, transfer, and fill, to make sure that we look at our calendar for where we're spending our time, take the things that cost very little that we hate doing, for me, anything financial or not very fun, process oriented, and then T is transfer, transferring that to somebody else that literally plays at the thing you work at that you could pay little money, and then you take that newfound time and you fill, that's the F, learning new skills, character traits, belief systems, or just doing more of the work that you're getting paid to do. If you can follow the ATF framework and get your assistant to take over most of the stuff in your calendar that is